Welcome back to Great Day. Obviously, you can see we're outside. We're catching up on one of the hottest toys over the last couple of years, drones. All right, that kid's toy today could become their career tomorrow. To find out details, let's catch up with Damon Darnell, otherwise known as the Drone Boss. Hello there.
Hey. How are you, Deborah?
Good. Okay, when I think about drones, I think back to the days when we had the radio control type things. This is kind of the same idea, but a whole new girl in technology.
Exactly, yeah, and they've been around since the 1920s in various, types. But what's happened just with the advent of the cell phone and the accelerometer, when you turn your phone over, it automatically knows. That technology going into the drones has just caused an absolute avalanche in what we can do with them.
Yeah, for most of us who dabbled in this as kids, the first time we got stuck in a tree or at the little boat, remote control boat went under, we were done with it.
Right.
You stayed with it. When did you start and when did you figure out that this is not only a cool thing but your passion?
Wow, well, I was super passionate about it from when I was a little kid. So I actually started flying in 1976.
Wow.
And it was kind of like love at first flight. It was just, I just fell in love with it and was just infatuated with it.
Yeah.
And I've, worked with it and played with it, ever since then. And I've had the neat privilege of representing the U.S. team. So I've actually set a few world records in racing the drones. They fly about 250 miles an hour, some of the really fast ones.
So we see it in sport, we see it in hobby, we see it in almost 300 different uses. One of them that people are familiar with because we've seen on the news over the past few years in terms of how we fight war. The military uses drones.
Right, right. And that was kind of the big stigma that drones aren't all used for bombing, right? There's tons of good uses for drones. In fact, the FAA has come up with 300 different verticals for positive use. So, we can use them for search and rescue. We use them for getting, medical supplies to certain areas during any kind of major, like a fire or a catastrophe for first responders.
Yeah. We use it in our business to go ahead and get the overhead bird's eye view like we would use a helicopter for. There are also kids who, I mentioned, a toy today, career tomorrow.
Right. Well, that's the huge thing. So Goldman Sachs just released their report, and they're predicting that this industry, the drone industry, is going to be a $100 billion industry in the next 3 years, which is really exciting. Well, and you see it, I'm sure, in the TV industry, just like almost every movie now, or even regular TV show, they have drone shots that are in there. Because now you can do, not only can you do shots that you couldn't do before unless you had a crazy Hollywood budget, but you can do things before that you couldn't do, like with the helicopter. Like you can be inside of a building and fly out through a window and get a whole
and let's face it, you can take a risk with a drone that you can't take with a helicopter as well. All right, with that said, a lot of kids look at this as a toy. There's some responsibility that comes along with this, and there are also some safety regulations and things that we need to pay attention to. So when you get these for children, what should parents keep in mind?
Well, so first of all, you have to register your drone with the FAA. Anytime you get one, if it weighs over 8 ounces, basically a stick of butter, has to be registered with the FAA. There's
a stiff fine if you don't.
Yeah, and that's their, and really a big part of that is education. Now, if you're going to operate it commercially, i.e. get part of that $100 billion that's coming in, then you do have to have a special drone pilot's license through the FAA. But it's just an incredible opportunity. In fact, I've developed a whole training course where we talk about the safety, we teach people how to fly responsibly, the education, and the business development side of it.
What's the biggest mistake people make?
Probably the biggest mistake is when they turn the drone around and they're flying towards themselves, then all the controls are backwards. Forward is backward, left is right, right is left.
You got to react quickly.
And that's where it's, like full-size pilots, they have people that have flown airplanes, commercial airlines or helicopters for years. They're used to left always being left and right always being right. So it's just a different thing that you need to learn. And you have to be respectful because these things are kind of like flying lawnmowers.
Yeah. The other thing is courtesy. When you attach a camera onto that and it's up high,
and that's a huge thing, and it's just about being responsible and courteous. Now, the good news is the quality, these are super wide angle lenses, and if you're up about 150 to 200 feet, and like if we flew up about 200 feet and took a picture of us, other than the hair, you probably couldn't tell, man or woman or anything like that because it's just so wide.
Because Mr. Wilson in our neighborhood, when he lays out by his pool, it's
you don't want that.
No. All right, so let's talk about some of the things you have here.
Okay.
Wide range of drones that you can choose from. Again, for those who are novice and when it's just a toy, and then pros like you.
Right, and these are what we would consider kind of prosumer. These are kind of consumer grade professional drones, and like I said, the technology has gotten amazing. Some of the new things that have come up with is they've come up with sensors that will actually avoid objects for you. So if you get too close to something or you didn't see something, the computers on the drones will actually interrupt for you and stop it from crashing. And in some of these ones that are just a little bigger, they actually have removable cameras, and you can change the cameras. You can put different sensors on. So like if there was a building on fire, you could put an infrared camera or a thermal camera on it and detect where the hot spots are, so the firefighters would know where is it safe to go in and where is it not safe to go in that they couldn't see otherwise. And for agriculture, golf courses, like we can fly over a patch of agriculture or a golf course. We can tell them where they're getting too much fertilizer, not enough fertilizer, the nitrogen output, where they're watering too much, where they're not watering enough, and identify those exact spots. We can even tell if there's any kind of disease or something going on with them.
Wow.
And the amount of money we can save and the environmental impact that we can reduce is mind-boggling.
Yeah, this is one of those things that really, on your resume, you may put, I can operate a drone, because that means something that they would hire somebody based off. Okay, we know that with pictures, like our phone pictures, we call them selfies, right? Okay, so what do you call them when you have a drone?
A droney.
Let's do a droney.
Let's do a droney, okay. Stick up, we'll climb up just a little bit. There you go, that's good altitude.
Oh, okay.
There we go. And then let's go a little bit to the left.
Okay.
There we go. And then just push this button right up here.